We are recording. Can you hear me still?
Oh yeah, I can hear you fine.
Fantastic. All right. So today, I've never done this. I am super excited because I'm talking with the one and only Clint Howard. As a child actor, Clint was in Gentle Ben, The Andy Griffith Show, Star Trek, of course. And of course, he's been in every single thing ever made. I think if you went back in time, we would find the anomalies that have him in Gone with the Wind and whatnot. Tango and Gung Ho was a favorite of mine, but you're in Apollo 13, all kinds of classics, Cinderella Man. Let me ask you something, Clint, right off the bat. Do you ever like flipping channels? You're watching a movie or something, and you forgot you were in something, and you go, "Hey, wait, that's me," because you're in
No,
like,
Tony. No, Tony. I've got a pretty good grasp on what I've been in, and where I've been, and hopefully where I want to go. So no, if I see a movie on, a bell goes off, and I go, I was in that. There's a
right?
movie called There's a movie called Forget Paris
Oh
with
yeah,
Billy
Billy
Crystal and
Crystal.
Deborah Winger.
I love that movie. Joe Mantegna.
Yeah, which I have a huge 2 degrees of separation between me and Joe Mantegna.
Is that right?
Because I know Joe. Joe had a restaurant that was about a half a mile from my house in
Did he
Burbank.
really? I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah. So
He's
no,
great.
anyway, I will always remember. I had a scene in Forget Paris. Now it probably had been 25 years since I had seen it. 20
Yeah,
years since I'd seen it. But anyway, I like to tune in.
that was one of my favorite Billy Crystal movies. Actually, I thought it was underrated.
Well, listen, yes, I enjoyed it. I'm a big basketball fan, so getting the NBA involved was kind of a bonus for me. Uh,
Right.
Two guys that wrote it, Lowell Gans and Babalu Mandel, dear family friends. I've known Lowell and Babalu since I was in my early 20s, so it goes way back. And anyway, they wrote a thing, and they nominated me to go and do the bit, and I went. I played an exterminator, and it was just one little bit. Billy got it. I got it. We did it. It was a little like the Austin Powers movies. I was not on screen for very long. I did not spend very much time on the set to do those Austin Powers gigs.
Really? Because they're memorable cameos, I think.
Yeah, but in the world of making movies, when it was my call time, they had the set up. I said hi to the director, Jay Roach. We rehearsed it a couple of times, and everybody seemed to be satisfied with their end of the technical. The cameraman.
Yeah.
It's a whole team that happens.
You mentioned Bobby Mandel. Wasn't that? I've seen it, Babaloo Mandel on the screen. Is that a reference to I Love Lucy?
No, that's his name.
Oh, really?
Babalu Mandel. That's his show name. He's been a writer in the world of Hollywood for probably close to 50 years.
Yeah. Well, I'm showing my ignorance.
Laverne and Shirley.
Right.
I think, maybe even Odd Couple. I'm not sure, because Lowell Gans has had a relationship that went far back with Gary Marshall. And at one point, Lowell Gans and Babalu Mandel started partnering, and they had truly some of the great seminal comedic scripts: Parenthood, A League of Their Own, City Slickers,
total classics. Yeah.
Lowell and Babalu, man, they did it. They suited up and showed up and knocked it out of the park several times.
I just with my oldest daughter, I just watched Parenthood a couple weeks ago, and it had been a long time. And when you came on screen, I was like, "There's Clint Howard. Dad's gonna talk to him soon." And anyway, that was my best story.
Yeah, he's got no business. No business. No.
Yeah. You were a mean dad at that one.
And I'll tell you, that character Lou was torn from the pages of Ron and I's life.
Really?
Where we grew up, Burbank, and then Toluca Lake Little League.
Mm-hmm.
There were fathers.
Yeah.
Between the Burbank Park and Recreations program and Toluca Lake Little League, there were plenty of fathers that Ron and I could go back and go, no, he can be that broad and still be honest. I mean,
Absolutely.
these guys sit back in the 70s, cigarette smoking, fence loitering dads, probably with a beer in their hand, cigarette. Come on, Jimmy, throw it at his head, Jimmy, throw it at his head.
I think we've all met dads like that, especially back in the day where it's just pressure, 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 you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's so listen, have you been doing more artistic work yourself?
I have when I have time, but I've been, as you know, I drawn and painted over 1,000 famous people eating tacos, and I've been trying to get that work going. I just finished a Burt Reynolds that I'm going to post soon, and it's funny.
Tony, it's really brilliant. The different layers of you communicating yourself to the public by doing this kind of specific tone and a specific kind of concept of just, yeah, because you know what? Everybody eats tacos one way or another.
Yeah, and if they don't, they should start.
I know. Tacos are king. Tacos. We have a great store. We have a great couple of businesses here in Southern California that my wife Kat introduced me to a few years ago, and it's called King Taco.
King Taco.
Let me just plug King Taco.
I
They're
saw
the
a
bomb.
picture of that. It looks amazing.
Yeah, it's the bomb. We made sure there was plenty of King Taco at our daughter Rafa's 13th birthday party. We just threw her a birthday party, and it was King Tacos all the way.
Oh man, and you didn't invite me?
No, you're a little too far. A little too far. Look, I'll send you a picture. Maybe you can, do another Clint eating tacos again.
Okay. I got a dorky question for you.
Okay.
So when you were a little kid, you did the show Gentle Ben with the big bear, and you were in the Han Solo movie with Chewbacca. Who is the more intimidating furry companion?
Well, Chewbacca comes with a lawyer.
That would
Gentle
put him.
Ben had just kind of some sweaty animal trainer. I was certainly, Chewbacca's a complicated character because the last time I checked, there's like a Croatian dude or a Norwegian dude in that outfit.
Right.
And Bruno was Bruno. Bruno was special. And that was a really unique experience I got to live. It wasn't just one bear, it was 3 bears.
Right.
And it wasn't like we developed any sort of super affectionate vibe.
Right.
No, the bear came for treats. If I rubbed honey on my right here,
you would have been the treat.
Bear would follow me. I could walk along and the bear would be interested in wanting to put his snout against my forearm.
I like that back then they were just putting honey on children and sending them to bears.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't have much of a problem with bees. I never had a bee issue.
That's good.
I didn't even really have much bear. I didn't have bear issues. The only issue I really had was the raccoons, because the raccoons are gnarly little critters, and they have to let them keep their teeth and their claws.
Yeah.
And they're just, even though they don't mean any harm.
No.
Their claws are just razor sharp. And there was one instance where the raccoon Charlie physically climbed me, because he knew what the behavior was. The behavior was I was going to reach down and pick him up. And he got tired of me reaching down and picking him up. So he just decided to get to his end spot, which was right here where there were cookies in my pocket. And the raccoon climbed me and tore me up pretty good. Just,
Oh my God.
I mean, I didn't need stitches, but I was bloody.
Now the next question: what's your social security number? No, I'm just kidding. I was just gonna steal your identity real quick when you weren't looking, and no, I'm just kidding.
That would be tricky. That would be tricky for somebody to get away with being Clint Howard.
Right. Hi, I'm Clint Howard.
Yeah, there'd be too many dudes that would say, "Dude, I don't think so."
Exactly.
Dude, no.
Yeah, as I told you the other day, my grandfather was a captain of a B-42 bomber in World War II, and his co-pilot was Gene Roddenberry. If I understand correctly, you're the only actor that's been in virtually every Star Trek series ever made, right?
Oh, Yeah, I guess so. There was, there was a reason for that, and there are a few actors. Don't forget, Star Trek made a boatload of movies too,
Yeah, that's true.
and so there's a lot of different variations of the Star Trek universe. But I have been in the original. I was in Deep Space Nine. I was in Enterprise, and I was in Discovery. And as far as I know, they're doing more. And don't be surprised if I end up in more of the, Star Treks, because listen, they embrace me now. There is
Absolutely.
a lineage of, the actor Clint Howard. God, he was around in the 60s.
Yeah.
And I get it. And it's fun. I enjoy it. It's all top, the people that make Star Trek now, it's all top flight people using
Yeah.
state of the art equipment, and they got great writing, and the times that I've worked with them, it's been positive.
Well, and now we're the culture's so aware of like Easter eggs and whatnot that there's fun in going, hey, there's Clint Howard, and
Yeah.
so people, even people who weren't aware, become aware because I think nowadays everybody likes to look for those little hidden treasures.
Well, yeah, listen, and that's cool. Also, I like to think that when I show up, I deliver. They have
Absolutely.
the producers and the directors have a perception of what I can deliver, and hopefully I deliver that and then some. I have been a professional for a long time,
I think
and
everybody knows, yeah, that
yeah,
when
I take it seriously, and so it's I just enjoy it. And listen, television, Tony, it's a little interesting because there's different qualities, because you have to work fast. If you're doing television or doing something streaming, ultimately, you know, they don't have all day to shoot something. They've got to
yeah,
finally kind of organize it and plan it, and then go in and execute it and do it, and then be on to the next day's work, because it's serial.
exactly.
Um, they do it well. They do it well, and I just have been thinking, I hardly remember when I did it the first time.
Yeah,
I barely have memories of working on the original Star Trek series.
really.
I remember telling the stories of
Yeah,
working on Star Trek, but I don't
yeah.
really. The moments are just little bits here and there. But now, that Deep Space Nine. First of all, I auditioned a couple of times. I was an actor in that era. And when was that? The late 90s.
Yeah, something
I
like that.
was an actor just trying to get work, and the word came down because they submitted me for an audition for Deep Space Nine, and they said they didn't want to see me, and the word got back is they're not hiring anybody that appeared in the original series.
Oh, weird.
They weren't. If you had a part in the original series, need not apply
Oh,
for Deep
strange.
Space Nine. And simply enough, like midway through the second or third season, they forgot that, and I got a call for an audition, and I even reminded my agent. I said, "Listen, they don't want to hire me because I was in the original series." And she goes, "Oh, they're so swamped, they don't care. They're trying to get their show done." So I went and worked, and it slipped through. Jonathan Frakes was the
The director.
director.
Yeah, he's
I
great.
believe I had a call. Probably they were working late, so I had a call, was probably a 5 p.m. call for me,
Yeah,
and I didn't work till about 2 or 3 in the morning. And it was one of these things where the company was basically pulling an all nighter to get the episode done.
yeah.
It was a complicated episode, and Jonathan Frakes was just dead tired. It was probably 2:30 in the morning by the time I worked.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the one acting lesson that I would tell people or remind people of is, you get paid to be good at 2 o'clock in the morning, just
When I was,
like you're getting paid to be good at 8 o'clock in the morning.
yeah, exactly. You gotta show up.
You got to show up, and it's a lot harder to act if you've had shitty pizza and 5 cups of coffee.
Right. Then your nerves
Just did.
become frayed.
Yeah,
When I
it
was
just
a
is.
when I was a kid, like if you showed up in a movie or your dad, my mom would always point you guys out. And even before I saw your horror films like Ice Cream Man, and I would get, I found you so frightening. Like I remember I was about 11 or 12, and Tango and Cash came out, and you were the psycho slink, and I found you so. I almost thought you would be the main villain in the movie. You know.
No, I didn't. That was a fun day.
Yeah.
I had a great opportunity meeting the director. The director, Andrei Konchalovsky,
Yeah.
he got released. He started making Tango and Cash.
Yeah.
And then about 2 weeks into filming, they replaced him. And so I ended up acting for a completely different director. But I had never met Stallone before, but the day of work went really well. And it just, from what I heard later, the producing team just had a conflict of interest with the director, that Andre was trying to make a different kind of movie, and that the producers wanted to make more of a buddy cop bromance movie.
Right.
And they made the ultimate kind of bro movie.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's happened twice. That happened, I believe it happened on when I worked on Barbed Wire. The director that hired me ended up not making it to as far into, I was probably 2 or 3 weeks into filming that when my scenes for Barbed Wire came up, and by that time the director had been replaced.
That's remarkable, because you don't expect that. That happened to me in the third grade. My teacher, I was told I'd have one teacher, and then I got a different teacher. So basically, we're the same guy.
And in fact, you could have my social security number.
Okay, there you go. I'm Clint Howard.
Don't hold your breath, Tony.
So I wanted to show you a trick. That's right. I'm checking my notes here. Forgive my lack of professionalism. I know that you know Michael Keaton, and you've worked with him a few times. Whenever I see comedians do an impression of him, it's terrible. I want to show you mine because I think mine's pretty good. And
wait, you and Keaton?
Yeah, I'm gonna do Michael Keaton. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Hey, Howard. How's that?
Yeah. I mean, listen, you scramble enough pixels together, and you didn't say much, honestly, Tony. If I want to give a critique, you didn't really. You grunted. You kind of grunted.
I was doing like Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah, there you go.
Watch the eyebrows.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
Don't lie. You hated it.
No. Hey, Keaton makes me laugh. First of all, I fully admire that dude.
Yeah.
I mean, from the minute I first worked with him, and then the things that he's, with times that we met socially, when I worked with him, when he made his short film for the David Letterman show.
Yeah, you were in that with him.
Yes, I was a big part of that show.
I think you stole that one, to be honest.
Well, he leaned on me. I mean, it was his thing, but he was leaning on me to get that kind of attitude, and I gave it to him.
Yeah.
And no, he's just, and listen, Birdman was a superior movie.
That was amazing.
And he, at the end of the day, when they had that award ceremony there where everybody gets dressed up and they hand out Oscars, he didn't win.
I thought he should.
And I just thought that was horse shit.
So did I. I was watching that night, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I thought he had it in the bag.
Oh man, because Kat and I went back and saw that recently, and it is so good. And also it's about the theater. It's about performers.
Yeah.
It's about, and which is something that I can relate to. The ego of performers, and then the being a father, being a messed up father, being, anyway, I just thought it was great.
I did too.
And Ed Norton was great. That may have been the biggest prick. Ed Norton's role, he was so perfect. That guy was just an actor, just the biggest prick actor you've ever seen.
Oh yeah. And he's always talking down to Michael Keaton's character. But what's great with Michael Keaton's character is you don't know if it's his ego or his heart a lot of times.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what it was. I mean, it just said, the brilliant movie. All of his stuff. Just think, the unmitigated gall to lead off doing Batman.
Yeah.
I mean, here he was Mr. Mom.
Yeah.
Not Mom. Mom.
Let's go with Mom.
Mr. Mom. He was Billy Blazkowski in Night Shift.
Yeah.
Does funny shit. He was a crazy character in Beetlejuice.
Mm-hmm.
And then he made a conscious choice of he didn't want to do funny movies, and he did Pacific Heights.
Yeah.
Where he played a psycho guy.
He was genuinely frightening in that.
Yes. And listen, the couple of times that we've crossed paths in our lives, it has been absolutely, he is a Minch.
I
And
love
my
that guy.
brother sees him more than I see him, the award show circuit and stuff like that. But, Ron always has great things to say about Michael. They basically kind of broke in together, as far as Ron directing and Michael acting.
Right, because that was like what Ron's second movie after Grand Theft Auto, I think.
Uh, yeah, his second theatrical movie. He did a
Right.
couple of TV movies.
Okay, and then Michael's first movie. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I love Night Shift. Uh, that's that's one of those ones too where you go back and you look and there's a lot more people. Of course, your friend Henry Winkler's in there. We were talking about Easter eggs the other day, and I spotted one in Scream where he's the principal, but as he's moving the jackets in his closet, you see the Fonzie jacket for a minute.
That's good.
That's a good Easter egg.
Well, there were a lot in Night Shift. Kevin Costner was in Night Shift.
Is that right?
Yeah. He played one of the party goers at the morgue when the morgue had the big party.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah. And it was a last second hire. Ron felt like they needed one other kind of extra person that could talk. They wanted to be able to have so Ron sold them on the idea of hiring one more actor. And the person that they brought in, I think it was Jane Jenkins and Janet Hershenson were the casting directors. They said they got a good guy out on the horizon, and they brought in Kevin Costner. Also, Drew Barrymore's mother is in Night Shift. Yeah.
And Shelley Long, who played her mother once.
Drew Barrymore's mom was a young actress at the time with Drew, and she got a chance to be in the movie.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So wait, what else? I mean, listen, we can chat about anything. I've got my mom's gift of gab. I can talk about just about anything.
Well, I gotta, let me see. I always look at my notes during life, even. No. Oh yeah. The original Jungle Book. You're Junior, the cute little elephant, right?
The baby elephant in Jungle Book. Yes, I was.
That amazed me. I was looking at your filmorgraphy, and that one I didn't know. Most of them I knew, but that one totally threw me for a loop.
Yes. Well, the first Disney animated movie I ever did was Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day.
Oh, that was,
and it actually wasn't a full-length feature. It was, I don't know, a 30 or 40-minute long.
Yeah.
But it was Winnie the Pooh, and I played Roo.
Well, yeah, they used to do in theaters back in the day. They used to do like you could buy tickets and get like 3 or 4 short Disney films.
The
Reluctant Dragon and whatnot.
I remember doing it.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing it. I don't remember seeing the Jungle Book. Again, my memory, listen, Tony, I was a working actor by the time I was 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah,
with lots of experiences. I mean, it was becoming regular for me to jump in the car, drive to an audition, drive home, and then a couple of days later be called to go to work and do the same process, jumping in the car at 7 o'clock in the morning. And my dad would drive me down to the studio. In the routine, and the same thing for Ron on a separate level. Ron got on a regular TV show. So Ron's routine was regular. He would go to the Andy Griffith show, regularly. Now that he went and worked on The Music Man, and he worked on Courtship of Eddie's Father.
Sure,
well, yeah. Well, I'm talking about when he was a little kid.
You're really little. Okay.
And my thing, same thing. By the time I was 4 years old, I was auditioning and going and getting individual freelance jobs. I didn't have the same series thing that Ron had. Hold on.
Yeah.
I might need to get some water.
No problem.
Too bad there's nobody around. I could say COVID. Uh-oh. Boy.
Hold on 1 second. I'm going to pause this. If I can figure out how. Pause, record. Oh, wait.
As my mom used to say, as hot as blue blazes. We're having a real heat spell here in California. It's well over 100 degrees and it's pretty humid today.
Oh my God. I have trouble with the heat. People seem to prefer it, but I don't understand that because, like, if it's cold, you can put on layers of clothes. If it's hot, you're not allowed to just walk around naked or anything.
Yeah, yeah. Although there's air conditioning,
Yeah.
And
Well,
the one thing about even like here, as bad as it is, by about 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, it cools down enough to where you can comfortably be outside. It's just it's from it's from 10:30 in the morning till 5 or 6.
yeah.
That the Mexican culture, they take the siesta.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's one thing they got right.
Yeah.
I like siestas.
Absolutely. It'd be kind of weird if you didn't. Now, of your cult, you've got some cult horror films under your belt. Ice Cream Man, Evil Speak, Rock and Roll High School. Which is your favorite of those three?
The horror movies.
Yeah, I'm a big horror buff. That's why I asked.
Probably Evil Speak.
Yeah,
Evil Speak, because I don't know, it meant something to me. It was kind of a coming of age for me as an actor, and the experience was good. I mean, listen, Ice Cream Man was a blast, and
yeah.
I love the response that we get when we go out and talk about the Ice Cream Man or doing a sequel or Norman and I are writing a second Ice Cream Man movie.
Oh my God, that's
it's not going to be a sequel. We're not trying to dust off the characters and do them some more. We're doing a completely different kind of horror movie about a 60-year-old ice cream man.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So we've been feverishly working on it,
You got to keep me
creatively.
updated.
As a lot of people know, you take 2 steps forward and a half a step backwards, and
Sure.
you cut. But we've come up with a lot of good stuff, and we're in the process of doing it now. So, as we like to say, Ice Cream Man 2023.
That's oh my God, I can't wait to see that. You got to keep me updated on that.
Oh yeah.
I'm a huge horror guy. I grew up like Peter Lorre, Vincent Price, Boris Karloff, all those guys, Bela Lugosi, and then the more modern stuff. And
well, I honest to God, for a long time in my career, I didn't do a lot of horror movies. I mean, I did Evil Speak, which is classic. I mean, boy gets possessed by the devil and cuts people's heads off.
Yeah,
with the help of carnivorous pigs. That falls into the horror category. I think over in the UK they called it a video nasty.
Yeah, that's the video. It is on the video nasty.
But listen, I did one day in a horror movie, and I had a blast doing it. I'm sure glad I did it. And it was called Ticks. And it was
right.
where I got infested by the ticks. I was the character. I was the reason why the ticks grew to steroidally huge sizes, and I got bit by a tick, and it buried into me, and it blew out my face. Yeah, and right before I say I'm infested,
right there, someone screaming "I'm infested" and their face blowing up is enough for the price of admission. That's worth the whole thing.
So anyway, I've been in a lot of funky ones. Tony, I still have a pretty good memory. And I could go back. I got a lot of obscure titles that I worked on that I've seen them once. There's probably been a few things that I actually haven't seen.
Yeah.
Things that I've been in and I haven't seen them. But like I was in a movie called, I was in a wolf movie. God, I can't. Big Bad Wolf.
Big Bad
Wolf was the name of a little independent movie. A friend of mine, I did a favor, did one day's work on it. I was in a sci-fi movie years and years ago before anybody really knew what the word digital meant. And it was a movie called Digital Man. Digital Man.
Yeah.
And I played a character. I was a pilot, and it was a futuristic movie. And the hook that I remember because I remember seeing it, and I definitely remember shooting this, is when I got shot in the cockpit.
Yeah.
You come to find out I'm a robot. I'm not a human. I mean, I play it. The couple of scenes I have, I look very much like a human. And then when I get shot, I spark. And you see, they do the special effect where the wires come up. And we were working really late at night, and they did the gag where my body was sparking. and
Yeah.
I was lying down on the ground, and my body was sparking, and my eyes were open, and a frigging one of the little cinders, one of the little burning rubber cinders from the wires,
Yeah.
it flew up and it hit me right there. I mean, and I got pissed that day.
Well, yeah.
Oh man, that could have messed me up.
Yeah.
Sizzling freaking piece of plastic right on my eyeball.
Oh God.
So that was my. Well, I've only really been hurt a couple of times on movies. I cracked a bone in my elbow, just a hairline fracture on Far and Away.
Oh man.
I've gotten banged up plenty. I mean,
Yeah.
I certainly have had to wear protective equipment, knee pads and shin guards and that kind of thing, especially in my younger days. But never really had to go to the hospital.
That's good.
Yeah.
Didn't have to get the slinky removed from your head.
No, yeah, that was easy peasy. Warner Brothers all the way. Met Larry King. That was a big highlight in my life. Was I was a big radiophile growing up, and
Oh, I love
when,
Larry King.
when I went to work on Tango and Cash, it was on the lot at Warner Brothers. And while we were doing the scene, Larry King stopped by to visit Stallone.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and I.
Yeah. Oh, I love talk radio. Are you hearing me? Oh, okay. Your face froze. I hope it didn't do that in real life. Oh, wait. Yeah. On my end, it looks like it's still record. Well, it's showing my face. It says one participant. Did it kick you out of here? Yeah. Uh-oh. Okay. Okay. Before it disconnects us, let me ask you this. What do you think is the greatest achievement of mankind? The Mona Lisa or the time I painted you guys eating tacos? No pressure. No pressure.
You know what? Honest to God, for what you painting people eating tacos does for you, the release that it gets, and it's tangible. I listen. I would put that in front of the Mona Lisa. I don't know. The Mona Lisa is good. The Mona Lisa's not that big. I've seen it. It's underwhelming in my opinion.
Is that right?
My artistic review would be Mona Lisa underwhelming. Monet, good. Sharpen the lines a little bit, Monet.
They're gonna put that on the bottom as a caption. Mona Lisa underwhelming. Clint Howard.
Yes.
I'll send you my painting of her eating.
And Monet, just sharpen the lines, huh?
Yeah,
come on. A shadow's a shadow. Sharpen the lines.
They need to have you doing commentary for all the paintings.
Yeah.
Listen, Clint,
Andy Warhol, cheap trick.
Cheap trick. Nice reference there.
Yeah.
Hey, I can't tell you how much I appreciate this. This has been a wonderful treat for me and probably all my viewers as well.
Well, listen, it's my pleasure, Tony. Kat and I really got a kick out of you, the tacos, Peyton Ducey, and we we really appreciate what you do, and thanks for the support. And hopefully this, onward and upward. And upward.
Godspeed and Buddha agility. Let's keep in touch.
There you go. Well, maybe we can be a little quicker than Buddha. Buddha wasn't Buddha's not playing middle linebacker.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, you take it easy, Tony.
Let's keep in touch.
Okay, man.
I appreciate you, buddy. Bye-bye.
Peace. Thank you.
All right.